Hi, everyone. It's Suzanne Venker at askthefeministfixer@gmail.com with another question from Ray. How does a husband support a wife who has trust and abandonment issues from a past trauma? And then he makes an interesting observation that for women, it seems as if the wounded spirit distorts every part of marriage, where leadership becomes chauvinism, intimacy becomes, I feel like you just want my body, or even over controlling parenting so that her children won't be harmed like she was. And that this is a new normal of fear-based dysfunction that's centered on being a victim that turns the family order on its head. And I chose this one in particular because I think it's extremely significant in so many relationships today, particularly because so many people are products of divorce, which is a big sort of taboo subject. Well, it's not taboo enough, I should say, divorce, because we don't talk about the wounds that people carry with them. And he wasn't talking about divorce per se. There's a lot of different kinds of trauma that people endure in their lives. And then if they don't address that and get the help that they need to work through that, they bring that into their marriage or relationship. And it really turns the whole thing on its head. He's right. Now, what's specifically interesting is that doesn't get a lot of attention is that this is precisely the message. This is a breeding ground for feminist message, because if you do any study of feminism, the feminists in their prior lives, in their upbringing, you will find a common theme where there's just tremendous abuse or neglect or abandonment. And rather than turn inward to address those issues, like I said, it becomes a societal problem. You know, there's something wrong with men, there's something wrong with society, and you get a completely distorted view of not just society, but of men and marriage. And feminists feed off of that. So women like his wife, he didn't talk about feminism in this particular question, but I get a lot of questions from people who that's exactly what they're experiencing, is that their wives are holding on to this lifeboat that feminists purport to give them in empowering them and freeing them and liberating them from this, terrible institution of marriage, and that men are ultimately oppressors and you have to extricate yourself in order to find happiness. This is what many modern relationships are dealing with today, and why they are failing, because people are not understanding how to cope with their own personal issues and go get the help that they need to then bring their best selves to the table. And they end up blaming quite often their husbands or thinking marriage is the problem, when really the problem is within. So for this gentleman, the best thing he can do to support her is to get her the outside help that she needs to heal those wounds, and to point out anytime it's turned on him what's really going on. And of course, at the same time, being very supportive and not taking it personally. That's a hard one, but that's only going to make it worse. The only way to support somebody like that is to just make sure they get the help they need, and not allow something to become bigger by retaliating if they take something out on you. So that's my advice there, and I hope it helps.